Hi, my name is Logan, and I wanted to see what people could do to help stop, like not really stop, but help to prevent oil leaking more into the ocean. So this is what they could do. They could basically do like this one thing. It's basically not really like a net, but it's like this giant enclosure where it will not let any oil escape from the enclosure and get into more bodies of water. So then that is better. Well, not into more bodies of water. Sorry, I can't speak today. Um, so then it won't harm any other animals until the people come and clean it up. So the other thing is they could use booms because some the oil ships sometimes those leak oil. So ships that have oil in them, obviously. So they could use booms to try and stop less oil from leaking. And then another thing is people could start finding different power sources like energy, water, well not like nuclear, water, solar, wind, that stuff. And then either that or people could switch to green energy, which would save a bunch of oil, which would reduce the chance of oil spills. So then, basically, the reason people might want to switch to green energy, one, it's a lot safer, and two, we're kind of starting to run out of fossil fuels like coal, oil, that stuff. So once we run out of oil, there will be no oil plants left. But if we start switching to green energy now, we might have a little oil left over in the future. So then the fifth thing is, we could like this thing. We could like do this one. They could invent like this big giant sponge. They would place it in the water and that stuff, and then it would soak up all the oil, which and then they could just squeeze it out. I guess I don't know how, but another thing is, they could make a double hull like for boats, like oil boats, which reduces the chance of oil spills in the ocean because it would just I guess the oil would just go into the other hull, I guess, which is better because then it saves oil, which is helpful, and less oil goes into the ocean and harms animals and plants. So then another thing they could do is use non-harmful chemicals to like plants, animals, and that stuff, which would actually break down the oil molecules, and eventually over time it would just evaporate and dissolve and not even be there anymore. So that, which is very helpful because the chemicals do not harm the animals or anything living in the ocean. Another thing is why, because obviously it breaks down the oil, which is good mostly because it's a lot better. I don't know how, but yeah, it's not harmful to any plants or animals. So for another one, we're getting towards the end, by the way. We could use a vacuum truck, or vacuum ship that basically has a giant vacuum and would vacuum up the oil and put it into this massive tank, which would hold all the oil. So then a lot less plants, like coral and that stuff, and fish would be harmed. And then another thing is that one reason like just like on the truck, it could also help because it could also reach like the shores and the banks and that stuff. So then another one would be we could use hoses to wash the oil off the beaches and then back into the water. So then the vacuum trucks would have a lot easier time to vacuum up the oil. And so, yeah, that would be a lot more helpful. The reason why you probably would want to wash the oil back into the ocean would be because it's a lot more helpful for like to clean up the oil. Not saying it's good for like the plants and animals, but yeah. For number 10, we could. This is the last one. We could use shovels and like road work materials, like bulldozers or like shovels and that stuff, to dig up. If it's like on the sand, we could dig it back up and like put it into a bucket. And that is basically it for helping like people like. Well, that's basically it for try to help oil spills.